Hi everyone, welcome to round 3 of the Sheffield Congress, where I was hoping to bounce back from a very poor start. My losses were like buses in Oldham, none for ages and then 2 come along at once. But this round I was against Ludi Simpson, who actually doesn't have an ECF, but it was down, I think he's YCA, so it must be 143, which means that he could have done the under 146 if he wanted. So now I'm playing someone who is too low for the section, so I should be able to win. And I've got white as well. I played E4, he played E5, I played Nf3 Nc6, I played the Royal Lopez for the first time in about 200 years, A6, Bishop A4 and D6. This is known as the deferred Steinitz. The normal Steinitz is D6 if I'm A6. I played Bishop takes C6, B takes C6, D4. I never really understood this opening because you're giving up the bishop here and opening up the position, but it's only what I sort of knew. Black can either play Bishop G4 like in the game, or you can also take, and you tend to take with the Queen. And yeah, Black actually has to be careful actually against White's initiative. I think C5 is the move. Queen D3, getting the Queen off that dangerous square, and then Knight F6. And we have Knight C3, Bishop E7, both sides castle, and H3, and White has a slight advantage based on the more space in Black's bad pawn structure, but Black can cause problems with his bishop pair, so it's a game. He played Bishop G4, keeping the tension in the centre. I played Bishop E3. There's Knight F6. I played a dodgy move. I played Knight BD2, but this shows I don't understand the positions very much, because in this line you want the Knight in C3, but in the main lines you play C3, Knight D2, Knight F1, Knight G3. That's all I knew. He played E takes D4, Bishop takes D4, C5, I think Black's equalised now. Bishop E7, castled, Rook E1, Qe8, and I played Knight F1, my plan, but it's a bit slow. Knight came back to D7, preparing Bishop F6 to get rid of my dangerous bishop, and pawn can Knight in E5. This will also intensify the pressure on the pin. So I radically kicked the bishop away, back to G6, and then played Knight G3. So my plan basically is to stick a knight on F5 and hopefully cause some problems. Maybe start kingside attack, but now pieces start coming off, which is not good. I took it, developing his queen, which is not a good idea, and played C3. And after knight E5, I was a bit worried now. Now he's threatening knight takes C5, and he's maybe coming to C4 and all sorts of nasties. So I took it off, took the rook, I played King G2. Now Rook A8. In fact, now I'm in trouble, and worse now, because that E4 pawn is very weak. And there's a lot of pins come up as well. I played Queen D3. After D5 was played, because now I shouldn't have allowed that pin, but what else do I do? Because it's attacked 3 times and defended twice. If I play F3, then in this position D5 can be played anyway. So I knew D5 was coming, I play F3, C4, hitting my queen. And I couldn't think of a good square for the queen. I picked the best one actually. So I didn't want his queen coming to F4. So I played Queen E3, and I also had plans of Queen A7, as you're going to see. He played Queen back to E7, further intensifying the pressure. So now he's got several pieces attacking it, but he can never really take it, because I play F4 hitting his rook moves, and I play F5 trapping his bishop. And that works as long as I don't go pawn grabbing with my queen. So in this position, because he's not threatening to take an E4, I should play Rook AD1, try and get most of his tempo. And then he should play something like C6. Then maybe Rook D4, protecting the pawn again, but it was hard to do anything. I decided to break the pin and try and go pawn grabbing with Queen A7. An absolute terrible decision, because now we can actually safely take the pawn. And after F4, Rook B5. Now the fact that my queen's too far away from the king is very bad. Now the question is, can I chuck in Rook E2 protecting the pawn? But I think he just plays F6, give this bishop a square, and I'm just lost the pawn for nothing. So I took on the challenge and played F5. The problem is now he takes this with check. I block for the rook. Moving the king's not really any better, because now stuff like E3 coming and cutting the queen off the fence of my king. Rook E2, rook takes, knight takes, now bishop takes F5, G takes, and queen G5 check. I realised I was in big trouble now. He's going to have 4 pawns for a piece, which is a big advantage. My king's very open as well. I have to be careful what square I put it on as well. Like if I go to f1, f5 drops with check. If I go to f2, that just wins. So I have to go to the way, so I went king h2, and then queen takes f5. And I was also first like queen f3, so I played rook g1 to get the rook closer, maybe to get the g file pressure going. Check. King h1, queen d6, protecting all the pawns, but a bit passive. I think you should just aim to try and kill me fast. I think you should just give a6 up and play rook d8, queen takes a6, queen h5, fox these pawns. If knight f4, we've got queen f3 check. If queen h5 in this position, then I've got queen e3. If I had queen d6, queen f2, very passive. Maybe queen d4 is better, but I think this endgame's going to be lost in the long run. But he has got a double, one of the pawns is doubled. But this is not nice to defend. Queen f2 was played, I played g6. Just a bit of prophylaxis against any potential tricks on the g file. Knight d4, so a nice square, but it shouldn't be enough. Queen d5. Queen e3, stopping the e3 check. And I'm really surprised he didn't just play c5 and boot my knight away. And after knight comes back, it's queen d3, it looks like almost winning. He played f5 however, trying to sack a pawn with f4 maybe, but I played rook g5, pinning the pawn. Maybe of ideas of h4, h5 if he's not careful. There's all sorts of sacks potentially now. So he played king f7, which is a very good prophylactic move, getting away with any pins. I played knight e2, very bad move. Rook b8, king g2, blunder. Now rook b2, that's in time pressure to reach move 40. King g3, another very strange move that just didn't do anything. In fact, he missed in this position. Rook takes e2, queen takes e2, h6, chopping my rook completely. Where my rook falls, I'm going to be 3 or 4 pawns down. 3 pawns down. Queen d3 was played, it was still a very strong move. Forcing my king back to f2, and now he took an a2. So now he's got 5 pawns for a piece, my king's wide open, and can take the queens off any point, end any attack I've got. I play rook g1, just trying to get the rook back into the game, so the pawn takes its first step. Rook e1. So now I can move my queen, because e2 isn't going to fall. So we should just play queen takes e2, king takes e3, a4, just wins. It's too many pawns for a piece. The strongest move actually though is actually what he played. He played a4, which is the strongest move. But I play queen c5 now, just letting my knight drop an e2 potentially. Now so what he played was, although it was the strongest move, it's actually quite difficult now because he's got to be careful of perpetual check. He spent about near 20 minutes on this move, despite playing pretty fast all game. The strongest move is to play c6. If queen takes c6, we have rook takes e2, rook takes e2, queen f3 check, king g1, queen takes e4. So have I got a perpetuals and 4 pawns down otherwise? Let's see. Check. King f6. Check here. King just runs. There's too much shelter. This does have to be well calculated. In the game though, he actually just took on the c3, which now he's got 6 pawns up, but it's actually forced perpetual. My job's agreed here. The funny thing is, when he offered a job for king a6, I told him to make his move first, just in case he played that, then I win. But that was a terrible game. That having to swindle someone 10 points low with white, but I wasn't used to the opening, and with a bit of study on the deferred to Steiner, so maybe not. Maybe I'm not too keen on, it may be the best move, but I'm not too keen on bishop takes c6 check and d4 because I just don't like giving up the bishop pair and opening up the position. It just feels wrong, and there wasn't really any traps or anything. So maybe next time I play more quietly. But I hope you enjoyed this game, and I'm on a very poor half out of 3 so far. But please leave in the comments some thoughts. Thanks very much.